Now to welcome our next speakers, Camille Reyes, a sales manager at Sun Life of Canada, Philippines, will be joining us today to moderate the fireside chat, Homemakers to Home Builders, advice for your first home. Hello, Camille.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Hello mga ka-TGFI and ka-OSHmates! Welcome to day one of our Affordable Housing Summit 2021. I'm Camille Reyes and I'll be moderating our fireside chat about homemakers to home builders, advice for your first home. For sure, by this time, you've learned a lot already about affordable housing. And now, may I introduce our esteemed panel speakers for today. For our first panel speaker, she has 15 years in-depth experience in affordable and low-cost housing in the Philippines. Proactive and hands-on leader providing entrepreneurial spirit and innovation with a focus on value addition to product and customer experience. And she's currently the president of Ovia Land Incorporated, or OLI. Let's all welcome Miss Pammy Vital.
Hi! Good day to all of you, our ka-TGFI and our ka-OSHmates. I'm so excited to be joining you on this very unique convention. I am Pammy Vital from Ovia Land Incorporated. We are mass housing developers and we are taking pride in becoming leaders in the premium affordable category. So in short, ang ginagawa po namin ay napakagandang mga bahay na abot kaya para sa maraming mga Pilipino. So, I'm so excited to talk to you more about your first home purchase with my fellow panelists. So, make sure to send in your questions and we'll be so excited to answer them for you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Pammy, for that brief overview. No? Ang ganda, abot kayang pabahay. Now, moving on to our next panel speaker for today. After her medical degree in UST, she jumped straight into entrepreneurship by managing condo rental and dorm, their family's retail store, and turning around distressed businesses to sell for a profit. Wow! She took up masters in entrepreneurship in Ateneo Graduate School of Business and ventured into entrepreneurship in AIM. She's currently the co-owner of Centrum Mavens Corporation. Let's all welcome Dr. Ruth Aaron.
Hello, everyone. Good day to everyone. And I'm from Centrum Mavens Corporation, and I'm here with my partner, Nica Masilang. And Centrum Mavens is a developer, and we build and sell boutique hotels in Makati and near BGC. So our hotel is called Nest Nano Suites, and Nica can talk about it later. So for you, we are here to share our knowledge about condominiums, and since we are licensed brokers, we can also answer your questions about housing or house and lots, condo, anything under if it's for own use or for investment. So feel free to key in your questions. So thank you again for inviting us. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruth. We're so excited for later, no? We'll see you again in a bit for our question and answer segment. And for our last panel speaker who will join us today, a board top-notcher in real estate as appraiser. She's a former OFW turned to be bed space business owner in Makati, The Fourth, and Mandaluyong. She built her real estate businesses while abroad and currently the co-owner of Centrum Mavens Corporation. Let us all welcome Ms. Nica Masilang.
Hi everyone! Hello! Hi mga ka-TGFI and sa mga OSHmates natin. Hello! So I'm here with Dr. Ruth Aaron. We are the co-founders of Centrum Mavens. So as what Dr. Ruth said, we are developers and we also construct boutique hotels in Makati and the Fourth area. So if you're looking for your first investment property where you could get rental income, then we could share this knowledge to you. So if you have questions on investment properties, we can answer them for you.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Ms. Nica. Now, I'd like to call on Ms. Pammy, Dr. Ruth, and of course you, Ms. Nica, for our question and answer segment. Are you excited, guys? Grabe
Yes.
ako, ang dami kong questions talaga. So are they in? All right. So the first question, I think this one is a personal question too, no? Being a woman, a wife, and a mother, what is the biggest impact those roles gave you as a home builder? So any one of you can answer.
Okay. So, if you don't mind, I can begin. So, every year, we turn over hundreds of houses to new families, and they are the first-time home buyers. This is such an exciting journey. It's such an exciting time to hold hands with the families in this new experience. And as a mom and also as a homemaker myself, I really appreciated the little things that matter when it comes to moving in, and this is a it's such a gift for our organization. In our organization, we consider it our responsibility to guide the families moving into their own homes. And I think we're as a mom again, and living and appreciating my own home, this is an experience that I want to share with many of our clients, with hundreds of our clients. So that influences putting special touches when it comes to turning over our unit, making sure that the houses are very clean. Nobody wants to move into a house that's dirty. You will be surprised. That's something that is sometimes overlooked. And it's actually very expensive to clean the house, especially now nitong COVID. People will even spend a bit more for disinfection and all those things. So especially when we're talking about young families, a lot of them will say, oh, we have a baby coming, we want to make sure that the house is very clean. So we understand that very well, and it's something that we want to really resonate into our organization. So in fact, when we turn over our houses, we are trying to practice zero punch list for our clients, because I realized as a mom, that was really the industry practice, no? You do punch listing. So sabi ko, bakit kailangan pang magpa-punch list yung mga clients natin when we in fact we should be the experts in giving beautiful homes. So that is something that we have removed entirely from our processes, because we want to make sure that when we deliver a house and when we turn it over to a client, it is they will take their breath away, rather than they will be sad or frustrated. So that is the goal, and that is what we bring. That is what we bring to the organization when it comes to bringing the feminine touch or the woman's touch when it comes to turning over houses to our new clients.
Wow, I agree with you, Miss Pammy, no? Parang gusto mo when you come in the house, kailangan tapos worry free ka na. So that's good. Thank you so much. How about Dr. Ruth? Would you like to add onto that?
Yes. I'm still single, but I have a lot of clients who are, of course, homemakers already, married. And you could see the transition, the difference in how they decide about their location, or what will they buy, if it's a condo or if it's a house and lot. So my tip to the first time home buyers is to first look at their needs. So if you're single, don't be short sighted. Look at, syempre, eventually you might want to have your family. So if you're going to have your family, saan kaya maganda bumili ng property? And what kind is a good option? Is it better to buy a condo or a house and lot? So take into consideration also the amenities. So of course, now since everybody is working from home, and if you have a family already, it's important that you have nearby parks or nearby playgrounds for the children, syempre, para everything is convenient. So the term is convenient. So look for things that will make life more convenient to your family. So it evolves kasi from being a single, iba yung hinahanap mo na convenience. Maybe you want to be near your friends, but as you have your family, more important now, what are the locations near the schools or near the workplaces, so something like that. So that's my tip to our home buyers, to factor in the things that are important to you before you decide what to buy, where to buy, and how much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ruth. Oh, so yung mga single natin dyan na nagtatanong na which is better investment? Is it a condo or a house? You have to factor in, sabi nga ni Dr. Ruth, yung what is important to you. Right? Okay, that's great. Great, great. Thank you, Dr. Ruth. All right, so we have a lot of questions coming in from our viewers. No, let me just one question here. Ayan, so I am an OFW. What are the requirements in acquiring a property? So, maybe Miss Pammy can answer this one.
Yes. Okay. When it comes to home ownership, let's remember two things. Okay. So home ownership, this is I love this, karapatan to ng Pilipino. So in other countries, actually, home ownership is not a privilege that they avail to many of their to their citizens. But here in the Philippines, home ownership is actually encouraged. So home ownership is the first consideration when it comes to the requirements. So actually ang kailangan mo lang dyan is a TIN, which is a tax identification number, and your NSO documents. So if you're going to acquire a property, that's all you need, so that the Register of Deeds and the BIR can transfer the property to you. But the other thing why they say na maraming requirements na kailangan is actually the housing finance, which is how to finance the acquisition of your investment, of your house and lot. So dito ngayon, nagkakaroon ng sasabihin na ang daming requirements, ang hirap mag-comply and all those things. But OFW or locally employed or business, actually the financial partners are only looking for one thing, which is actually your credit worthiness. So the credit worthiness checks your previous credit history, and also the possibility that you will become a good credit payer. Diba? So they check their for example, the term, especially buying a house is it's masakit siya sa bulsa. So usually it's a long-term loan that you have, so 25, 30 years. So what they want to make sure is that ito bang taong to, kaya niya bang magtrabaho pa for the next 20 to 25 years? Are you gainfully employed? Are you able to maintain your profession? So those things are established through the contracts that you have, if you are currently employed, or if you and your capacity to pay. So yun yung mga tinitignan nila. So I don't think it's practical to enumerate all the requirements that the banks and the financial institutions are looking for. But basically, if you are gainfully employed, if you are professional, then there shouldn't be a reason why you won't be able to apply for a housing finance. So yeah, that's it.
Ayan, mga ka-TGFI and mga ka-OSHmates, tin lang pala, we can already purchase a property. And ang galing, no? Kasi the next question here coming from our audience is, what can you recommend sa mga gustong magkabahay pero hindi pa financially prepared na makabili? So maybe Miss Nica can answer this one.
Yes, because like the question earlier, I was an OFW, so I bought a property when I was abroad, So I would like to agree with Miss Pammy, tama yun, TIN and yung credit history natin, yung credit standing natin, chine-check yan. So when I first bought the property abroad, I think I did a bank loan back then. So since it was my first time to do a bank loan, even before naman, I already bought a property, but I think it's through in-house. But then since this is my first time for bank loan, so mas rigorous yung checking. So I was only given a very short-term payment, like mga 10 years lang, because it was just my first time. So I believe for those who are already being given 15 to 20 years na payment term, that's a good deal already. Kasi for others, they do not need that, because they also check your other loan history, like if you are paying for a car, or if you have any credit card loans that you have, those are all being checked. If you could still add more loans to your name. So in terms of buying your first home, I would suggest that you really save up, Kasi it's one thing that you have that monthly income to cover for the monthly amortization. But what if, no? What if magkaroon ng emergency? Like for example, yung monthly income is naubos na for the emergency. So, ang mas maganda kung may cushion ka pa na savings para at least kung may mangyari man sa monthly income, merong magtutuloy ng payments para at least hindi tayo mapapaso doon sa pangako nating mababayaran natin yung property.
I agree with you, Miss Nica. Emergency fund is really important. Sabi nga, at least 3 times to 6 times of your monthly salary dapat nakatabi yan sa bank mo. So, a lot of questions are really coming in. And ito, magkakadugtong talaga yung questions nila no? So, this one is, what other costs do I need to consider when buying a home? Yan ang isang question. And siguro for a follow-up, how much is the down payment and how long can I pay for it? Maybe this one, Dr. Ruth can answer.
Yes. So very good question. Important to know that there's what you call transfer fees. So always ask for the figures kasi sometimes ang budget mo lang is how much is the asking price. And then you will be surprised na there's additional fee, what you call the transfer fee. So it ranges from 2.5% to 10% of the total price. So talagang buyer's side ang nagsushoulder ng transfer fee. Very seldom yung free na. But there are some who gives it for free. Some developers or some sellers. Pero it's more of an exception. So be prepared for that. Budget, allocate 2.5% to 10% of the total price as a transfer fee. Also, if you're going to go for bank financing, ito personal experience, na-surprise ako, there you have to pay for insurance pala. Whenever you go for bank loan, you still have to pay medyo malaki din na annual fees. So just so that of course if something happens to you, then the bank will get the payment for the loan from the insurance. So take note of that. Inquire from your bank. How much is that para ma-budget ninyo, okay? And of course, if you're going to buy properties na second hand or not brand new, take note that you might need to have repairs. So medyo malaking surprise yan. Sometimes pag check mo, tumutulo yung ceiling, major expense yun. So it's important to, when buying a home, do your research talaga. And then get someone, kung may friend ka, dyan na important yung who are your friends. Pag may kakilala ka na architect or yung medyo marunong sa construction, sabihan mo, tulungan mo nga ako tingnan itong house nito or condo na ito kasi yung leaks talaga is a major headache and major expense din when you're moving into a home na even sometimes brand new. May mga, sad to say, there are units na nag-leak even brand new. So maganda tip na check for mga markings in the ceiling. Pag maulan, makita mo lalabas yun. So you can search for this possible surprises para hindi, so that you'll know what to look for. So that's my tip.
Thank you for that tip, no, Dr. Ruth. So, call a friend, yung mga architects natin, na friends, ayan, paki-check natin, no? And also, as additional cost, sabi nyo nga po, that's the insurance part, no, which is the MRI, wherein you can ask your bank. And also a tip, kung if you have an existing insurance, you can actually use that for the MRI, for the loan for the bank. So, yan, call in your,
May additional input pa bala ako.
Yes, go ahead, Dr. Ruth.
Some developers, diba, they ask you to give a down payment and then there's a lump sum at the end. Sometimes 10% lang ang down payment plus installment. So don't be, sometimes they think na, ay kaya ko, 20,000 per month. And then they are surprised na after 2 years, there's a big lump sum. So factor that in and then later they can avail of bank financing. Take note, another major expense is the interest expense. Siyempre, that's in addition to the actual total cost of the property na from the developer. Let's say they say 5M. if you will go for bank financing, you have to input the interest expense. Iba-iba yan depending on the bank. So do your research.
Yeah.
I see. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Dr. Ruth.
And may I also add, Camille, no?
Yes, go ahead.
So for us, diba, so we are horizontal housing developers. So we really try to help our clients by being as transparent from the get-go. We give them, a really detailed computation sheet, and then aside from what you need from the equity and also for the housing loan and all those things, the next medyo significant expense would be the utilities, to install your electric, your water, and of course, very important now for everybody, internet. So that also takes some, between 15 to 20,000 per unit. So that's right. Be ready. Don't overstretch your budget na pipilitin siya. It's better to wait, I believe. It's better to wait at the right time to buy your first real estate when you are very, very ready. And you have, your mindset is there, ready ka financially, that you have to give up maybe some luho or some, nice to haves. But of course, it's very worth it naman na you will become a real estate owner at the end of the day when that happens. Yeah.
Thank you for that input, Miss Pammy. No? Talaga, dapat you have to check out what's in the contract. Isa-isahin talaga, no hidden charges. So that's good with the VLN. All right, so there's one question coming from our audience. It says, how important is it to have a current transfer of certificate of title or TCT for the property? So maybe Miss Pammy, you can help us answer this one.
Yeah. Only because my esteemed panelists are in hotel. So I guess just this one. So TCT. Okay. So again, like what I say, there's two things that you have to remember when you buy a house, right? Number one is real estate ownership, and number two is housing finance. So the real estate ownership, I always try to explain this to our clients, no. You end up as a real estate owner, you literally end up owning a piece of the earth na walang makakabawi niyan sa'yo, walang pwedeng kumuha niyan sa'yo. Pag naka-transfer na yung title, sa'yo na yan. So, I actually watch a lot of yung mga forums sa Facebook, ganyan. Maraming nagtatanong, is it okay to buy a property na tax debt pa lang siya? Or is it okay to buy a property na naka-mother title pa lang siya? For me, depends again on what you need, no? But at the end of the day, if you want real estate ownership, something na mapapamana mo sa pamilya mo, something that you can use as collateral to the bank, and something that you can really use as part of your, your personal assets, the answer is 200% very important to get the TCT. Because unless you see it, there's a lot of risks in buying a property where you cannot be guaranteed that there is a title. Although, if you are buying from a developer naman and there's a housing finance, chances are yung developer na tsaka yung bank yung nag-uusap regarding your title. So usually there's a transfer from the developer to the financing institution. Sila yung nag-uusap na. So that after you fully pay your loan, you can now request for a cancellation of mortgage, and then you can request from yung Pag-ibig Fund or the bank na ma-release na yung title sa'yo. And when you own that, don't lose it ever. If you lose that copy of yours, you'll need to go to the court to get what do you call that? Ano ba yun? Reconstitution of title. So that's mas madugo siya, and you will have to pay for lawyers and all those things. So very, very ultra important to get the TCT when you're buying your first property.
Okay, remember mga ka-TGFI, it's very important to get that TCT, no, Miss Pammy. Okay, there's one more question.
May I add lang? May I add? For the TCT, for yung mga landed na, no? For the condominiums, there's what we call the CCT, or the Condominium Certificate of Title. So it's equally important as well. So if you own a condo, please do not lose your CCT. So with the condominium naman, yes, we understand that you think na you own only just one unit, no, or the unit that you bought. Actually, also you're also part owner of the land, because as a unit owner, you are part of a condominium association. So it's a corporation that owns the land where the entire building is sitting on. So actually, you're also owning a piece of land. So usually a condominium sits in a property where it is most expensive already, kasi you'll see condominium in a very highly, highly urbanized area like in the central business district. Because the land is already expensive, that's why a condominium building is the rightful property to be constructed or developed there, because of the expense of the per square meter of the lot. So in order for us to really own a property in a city or in a central business district, the property for you is a condominium, which is a CCT. You need a CCT for that.
Thank you so much, Miss Nica. Grabe, it's a great reminder. Mahanap ko nga, no? May CCT, no? Meron na ba akong CCT? Parang yung CCT ko, hindi pa namin nakukuha. So, thank you for that input. That's so great. But, you know, there's one question related to the first question to kay Miss Pammy, no? This one, maybe Miss Nica, you can answer also. They are saying that this is the right time to buy real estate kasi pandemic. What is your take on foreclosed properties?
Okay. I believe that the best time to buy real estate is yesterday. Because prices always goes up, di ba? Miss Pammy, the construction materials always goes up, di ba? So also, inflation eats up our savings. So if for example, if our savings are in a bank deposit, so it's just earning 2%, whereas for example, the construction materials or the land is increasing by 3% to 6% or even more. So parang kinain na yung savings natin ng inflation. So better to move our savings to a better yielding investment. So that's the trick, no? So for the foreclosed properties, we understand because of the pandemic, there could be people who could not continue paying their properties, no? So baga medyo napapasok sila. So my advice for that is, if in your location, so kasi ako as a real estate practitioner, I would always be the expert in my area. Kumbaga, if I would like to be the expert in Makati, I would know all the streets in Makati. I would know the lay of the land, everything in there. So when a listing comes up, I could already know, decide which is a good buy. So you would know already for example, how much is the per square meters in the lot area and the floor area. You already know that. So kasi this is how the real estate practitioners really do it. Kaya mabilis matanggal yung listing sa foreclosure, right? So minsan parang pinag-iisipan pa lang, still deciding. Parang sobrang tagal mo na mag-decide. Nakuha na pala yung property because there are really people who specialize in an area. So if you would like to be an expert in Cavite or a specific part of Cavite, be an expert on that. Alam mo na yung pasikot-sikot. Para pag nakita mo palang listing, you could decide right away. Can you afford it? Do you have the savings? If yes, go muna. You buy it right away.
A word of caution lang, no? I'd like to add something. Is it okay?
Yes, go ahead, Dr. Ruth.
From personal experience, for a few years, we tried looking for a good property because initially, once you hear the word foreclosed property, you think na that's a good deal. But not all foreclosed properties are good deals. As I said a while ago, look at the repairs necessary, no? So you might end up buying a better deal if you get a brand new, since you don't have a lot of repairs anymore. So again, sabi ni Nica, just do your research, talagang put in time and effort to compare the cost, compare the investments, and syempre, ask the experts also. Ask the opinion of experts, your real estate broker in that area.
I agree with that, Dr. Ruth. No, you don't want unnecessary stress, diba? Kasi right now, naka-work from home tayo. Kaya there's another question coming from our audience. Is there an impact of work from home arrangements on the future of real estate. So we're now in working from our homes, no? And we don't want the unnecessary stress. Sabi mo nga, baka may leak, no? May mga foreclosure na properties na yan. We don't know the history, no? But for those who are up to the challenge, gusto nila yan. Sige, fine. Gusto mo yung meron kang kinukumpany sa bahay mo, then go ahead. You can go get a foreclosure property if it fits you. So again, kung bagay sa'yo. Now, the question is there an impact of work from home arrangements on the future of real estate? So anyone can answer.
Very good.
Go ahead.
Very good question. Because of the work from home setups nowadays and syempre homeschooling also, we see as a real estate broker, I see that there are more demands on places na if condo, bigger condominiums, like 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, kasi you need additional room for your mga Zoom meetings, for your homeschool setups, or as an office, diba? So you need additional space. And also there's an increasing demand for house and lots because they'd rather buy property in the suburbs and be close to their families. So that and anyway they can, as long as they have good Wi-Fi, so they can work from that anywhere in the Philippines actually. So that's the trend that I'm seeing.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ruth. How about Miss Nica? You would like to add on to that?
Ako naman, I believe naman that the work from home arrangement is temporary, but it's temporary, especially now that I think maganda na yung progress ng vaccination natin, no? We are already in the category of the rest of population. So as we see people being more confident to go outside without being infected, no? So we see more the economy progressing. Because right now, what I'm seeing in the work from home arrangement, especially those who are in the service industry, like the customer service, for example, when you talk to your bank or your credit card or your ATM card, di ba you could hear yung mga tahol ng aso, tricycle, di ba? So I would see that I'm seeing that people would still want to go to the office because mas profit.
Yeah. For me actually, this pandemic, we really saw an influx of mga out migration. No, we're calling it out migration from the congested urbanized cities. Some families are choosing to go out of Metro Manila so that they can explore other options for home ownership and change of lifestyle. Actually, this even before the pandemic, this has been an advocacy of mine already. Na of course, again as a mom, raising my children, I really see the value of space. I see the value of being able to make friends with your neighborhood and living in a place where you can where you can be comfortable. So we really saw an influx in that, and it was from some families realized, sabi nila, every weekend hindi na kami nagpupunta sa mall, we're not spending anymore and eating out some gyup every night, and we were able to save up some of our money, and then that's when they realized that we are actually ready to buy a home. So parang I guess before the pandemic there was so many, I wouldn't say distractions, but there was a lot of options for entertainment that people get distracted on really, I guess, what is really priority when it comes to long-term thinking. I tell people, for example, you buy a 2.5 million house and lot today and you're amortizing it for 25 years. It's not the same as rent, because at the end of the 25 years you become owner to an asset, and depending how well it was maintained, yung 2.5 million mo, granted there was interest in your loan, at the end of the day, when you're old, you have an asset that you can count on na upon retirement, you have maybe the because of the valuation, yung the increase in the value, yung 2.5 million mo, what if in 25 years ang worth niya nasa 8 to 10 million. So yung 8 to 10 million na yun, parang hindi mo yun masyadong masisave in cash because it's really hard to diba, there's always something to spend, emergency, ganyan. So the pandemic has really, for me, it opened up the eyes of many families when it came to the options that they have, and they realized that in so many other areas of the Philippines, there are still good options to put up a business and to continue, to find good work. And especially with the, the build, talagang you can really see the massive thousands of kilometers that are being built and really expanding us. So I really believe that there will be no more solution to the congestion of Metro Manila. But I believe that each family has a choice, if they would like to stay urbanized or if they would like to say, their options outside of the Metro Manila. So that's what I believe changed in the pandemic for the families that we serve and our clients.
Can I add something also?
Go ahead, Dr. Ruth.
On the investment side, also for those who wants to buy their first investment, our boutique hotels, we see now that from a boutique hotel before, where the trend is increasing also, where the people from the provinces sometimes would need a place to stay in for 1 to 2 days to do their thing in Makati. Let's say they will meet with someone. So, Nica, di ba? A lot of our hotel guests are locals. So, from the provinces, magsistay lang sa hotel namin in Makati and near BGC for a few days. So, that's a good investment also for those first-time investors who was looking for a good deal. So also, now that it's pandemic, there's such a thing as a quarantine hotel. So we were able to pivot from a regular hotel. Now we are a quarantine hotel. So medyo laging full occupancy kami ngayon because of people who wants to stay for 10 days, 14 days for quarantine purposes. So that's something that's new. Before the pandemic, there's no such thing like that. So now it's a good investment to go for quarantine hotel.
Thank you, Dr. Ruth, for that input. So another question coming from our audience, that what can you say about the young people becoming more interested in home ownership and moving out of their parents' homes even when they're still single? Grabe. Gusto na kagad umalis. So maybe Miss Nica can answer that one.
Actually, yung mga ganyan, no, talagang lifelong ang commitment nila sa isang bagay. Kasi purchasing a property is really long-term commitment. So, yan yung mga ideal talaga, mga idol natin yan para sa mga sa mga gusto na rin mag-asawa. Gusto nila ng hindi sila mamroblema sa it's a complicated relationship. So, but seriously aside, because I would say that these young people are very smart, no? They're very smart to really start putting their money in the right place. Because, sabi nga ni Miss Pammy, kumbaga, imbes na, kasi sa mga young people, alam, ano yung YOLO, di ba? Pwede naman kasing tamang hati ng investment, 50% investment, 50% pang YOLO, di ba? Pwede naman gano'n. Hindi naman lahat ng spare money is 100% YOLO. So, I would say that these people are very brave to really put in their money, because sabi nga namin dito sa Centrum Events, no? If you are single at wala ka pang kids and you have a job and savings, invest ka muna sa real estate. Because you may sell this later on when you need to buy your first home na, 'di ba? Kasi invest na mapunta nga sa iba yung money, kumbaga sa laging super saya, puro YOLO. At least meron ka ng lumalaki na yung yung savings mo, invest na kinakain sa inflation, sa bank bank savings, ipasok mo sa investment like real estate. So when the time comes that you need money, you could sell that and then use that money for your future needs, kasi mas malaki na talaga yung makukuha mo.
Would you like to add on to that, Miss Pammy?
No, totoo yun. We admire all the young people. In fact, our clients now, pabata na ng pabata. I thought that 28 to 35 years old was already young home buyers, when in fact we're now encountering more 25, 24. And it's good because that means the Filipino youth is aspirational. They believe in their future, and that's what we need. That's what we need in this country. For us to, 'di ba, sino pa bang mag-aangat sa atin kundi tayong lahat. So I admire that. I love it. That's a go. Uh, if you are thinking about it, but if your friends are not doing it, wag kang ma-FOMO. Go lang yan. Go, it's good. Make a good decision for yourself and for your future.
I agree, tama yan. So, mga kabataan natin dyan, mga ka-TGFI natin who are single and who would like to have their own houses, no? Kahit single pa kayo, go ahead. Huwag kayong magpa-peer pressure kung parang feeling nyo, hindi nila ginagawa, wag ko nang gawin. But if you want it, go ahead. Go, do it. Diba? We support that. So that's good, no? And okay pa ba? Okay pa tayo mag-questions? All right. Sige. Actually, ito naman, it's a more personal question. What made you decide to take part in the real estate industry? So thank God for people like you na mga nag-a-advise sa amin who would like to purchase their first home or maybe second, no? What appealed to you about it? So any one of you can answer po.
Camille, because I used to be an OFW, so I became an OFW because I was the family's breadwinner, no? So I had to provide financially for my parents and my siblings. So I got into real estate because I would like to have another source of income for my family, because if my family would only depend on my income, so ako isa lang, what if may mangyari sa akin? So it's like I want to diversify our income as a family. So with real estate, I thought back then that real estate would just be easy for my senior parents to learn. Just imagine, sabihin ko lang, ito po yung yung property, basta magka-tenant lang po dyan, kolekta lang kayo ng rent, di may money na po tayo. Di ba? Parang easy to teach lang to my senior parents. Parang kumaga, even at their level of understanding on the business, parang very straightforward. So that's why that real estate was that thing that I chose for me and my family.
Me naman, medyo similar kami ni Nica. I was looking for passive income because after graduating from medical school, syempre I'm thinking na what if wala pang patients, wala pang income masyado, or sometimes like being in a business, like having a pandemic, you don't predict these things. Pero if you have passive income coming in, the family will not go hungry. That was my mindset, na I need to have passive income. As young as in my 20s, that's my talagang focus. First investment should be passive income. Kasi what if I get sick? What if I lose my job? What if our business suddenly medyo walang income, like now, what's happening now? Then the passive income will sustain the family. So what I love about real estate is you can depend on it. And it's long-term, it's there with you for a long time, and you can pass it on to the next generation. So sobrang saya, and then you can earn from it once you sell it later, once property appreciates through time.
Thank you, Dr. Ruth. Grabe, tama yan. Talaga passive income is very important. So, we are still getting a lot of questions, but due to limited time that we have, I have to ask one last question to everyone. And let's hear your final words also, Miss Pammy, Dr. Ruth, and Miss Nica. So the question is, what is your advice for first-time home buyers in finding the right property or house? So let's hear it from Miss Pammy.
I guess the first, everybody will say first, is the financial fit, right? So because it's a long-term commitment, again, the real estate ownership and then the housing finance. The housing finance is usually very long. So I guess the advice that I would give is that many decisions always have pros and cons. Na you might end up saying na ang tagal nito, or like you'll end up feeling bad na ang tagal, nakatali ako dito sa area ko, hindi ko for example, you'll regret the investment or what. So I guess I guess my advice would be to be firm with your decision. There will always be good days and bad days, and but don't get distracted that you will regret your decision, because again, like what Dr. Ruth said, real estate is always there. It will always be there for you. If you have a change of heart, don't abandon it. Don't run away from your loan. Oh no, don't let that affect your credit score. There's always somebody that can buy the property, as long as you are smart, like what we said, make sure that there's a title, make sure that you're talking to a seasoned and trusted developer, that they know what they're doing. So I guess what I'm saying is that it's really a long-term commitment. It's like choosing a partner, it's like choosing a spouse, diba? Na there will be ups and downs when it comes to real estate. But at the end of the day, if you made the right choice, if you thought about it, if you did not rush into it, it will be very, very advantageous to you. It will add value to your life. So I guess be smart when making the decision. Don't be impulsive, and stick through the thick and thin of it, or through the good times and the bad times. Real estate will be there for you. So have faith in the real estate investment, and don't abandon it or walk out on it when it feels when life happens and it becomes difficult. Because I get that, you're like you make it's a 10-15 year commitment, tas midway sasabihin mo, gusto ko ng iba, ganito. So it's okay, real estate will be there, hindi siya aalis. So make a commitment, give it your all, give it your 100%, and for sure there will be a lot of returns and gains when it comes to real estate investing.
Thank you so much, Miss Pammy. So make a commitment, guys. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
All
make
right,
it-
let's hear it. Correct. Diba? Partner yan eh. So make a commitment. Very
Yes.
good. So how about Dr. Ruth?
Thank you. My advice is three things. Number one, know your cash flow. Check your cash flow. Number two, know your needs and wants. What are your goals in buying a property? Like me, my goal is to have a passive income. And number three, most important, is have an investor's mindset. Because when you buy your primary home or first home, don't think of it like, ito, I will have this for life. Kasi sometimes along the way, something happens, you might need to sell it. Kasi make sure that the property that you will buy is easy to sell and it will appreciate through time. So again, have an investor's mindset and always attend mga webinars like this. So thank you to TGFI and OSH, oh,
Oshmates.
OSHMate.
Yeah.
So thank you for having this kind of webinars. It's important to learn. And that's why in Central Mavens, what we do is once you buy a property with us, you invest, we mentor you. We give free mentoring to our unit owners so that you can expand your real estate investments strategically. So thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Dr. Ruth. Grabe. Can I line up to that mentoring?
Sure.
All right. So, the last but not the least, of course, I'd like to hear from Miss Nica.
Yun, sa akin, magaganda yung sinabi ni Miss Pammy tsaka ni Dr. Ruth. Sa akin, kasi ako nag-start talaga ako dun sa medyo emotional side. That's why I went to the real estate because I don't like my family to be, paano na bang mangyari sa kanila. So, para sa akin, kaya ako nag-stay sa real estate because of my why. Yung firm why, yung very determined why am I buying a property? Kasi kung malinaw na malinaw yung why na yun, kahit ano pa yung hirap na anuhan natin dyan. Sabi nga, di ba, if gusto, maraming paraan. If ayaw, maraming dahilan. So, yan. So, kung very firm yung why natin sa puso natin, sa emotion, sa natin, sa loob-loob natin, kahit ano pang mangyari sa financial or anything, gagawa tayo ng paraan para i-keep natin yung property na yun mawala sa atin. And also, to be able to bring that why into manifestation, yung maging truth talaga, maging totoo na siya sa harap natin. Find a trusted, trusted developer, yung talagang makakapagbigay sa'yo ng peace of mind na mabibigay nila yung why sa puso mo. So yun. So yun lang yung for me.
Thank you, Miss Nica. So find a trusted developer and of course, know your why. Grabe. And that concludes our fireside chat. Again, I'd like to thank Miss Pammy, Dr. Ruth, and Miss Nica for this wonderful session. Grabe, I learned a lot. Kayo ba mga ka-TGFI and mga ka-OSHmates? I'm sure you learned a lot, and I hope you learned a lot about the things that we all need to know about the tips and the advice for your first home. All right, so back to you, Aaron.